Yeah, it's Wednesday. Competition Wednesday on a Sunday. Yeah, I was just watching and looking for some scores. There you go. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Next question.
Well, just have to come with you now.
Yeah.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Trayvon Diggs, is he still on target to start practice today?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's gone through a lot with his health, and I think you guys have had to discipline him a couple of times. And you've always said you're a people person. How is your relationship with Diggs?
I think really good. I think, Trayvon and I have had some really real conversations with one another and sharing our feelings, and I think he and I understand each other, and I respect him as a man and as a father, and what an incredible football player. And I think he understands what we're trying to build here and why we're trying to do it that way. And so I'm excited to see how he looks and how he feels.
The group has gone through a lot with the health. How do you think Fluke's been able to handle all those guys, the in and outs of it?
Yeah, again, it's unique when it hits certain positions. Like early in the year, it hit the offensive line where it comes in bunches and you're down a bunch of guys. Same thing with the DBs and really the corners. But I think they've managed it well. I think it's a good group of guys. They're all very professional. They all understand what we're trying to get done, and I think there's some selfless guys in that room. They just want to do their part to help us win.
How you doing, Coach? Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm doing great, Happy. It's not Thanksgiving anymore. It's over. We've moved on. Yeah, we've moved on.
Oh, yeah.
Moved on. Yeah,
There
I
you
saw
go.
it.
Yeah.
I watched the game. Yeah.
You did.
I watched the game. Yeah.
Couple of questions. Piggybacking on the Diggs things, could he play safety, or is that even being considered?
No, I wouldn't even think of that. I mean, I think he's a shutdown corner when he's at his best and when he's playing well, and he is a guy with incredible ball skills. But again, I think it's going to be good to have him out there moving around a little bit and see how he feels.
Kalen Carson, he back? You ready to go?
Should be. Yep. See how he moves around today.
I know there's a lot on the line for both teams, playoff implications with this game, but Detroit has made this thing personal the last couple of years. You've been around here with the tackle eligibles and different things that they've done, maybe to embarrass the Cowboys. I don't know if is that a source of motivation for your team? Have you brought that stuff up? Do you even talk about that at all?
No, you know us, Clarence. We talk about ourselves and we focus on ourselves. I mean, Dan has built a really strong football team that mirrors his identity, and we're trying to do the same thing here, and just another championship opportunity for us.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. I think the last 3 games you've had 3 of your 4 best defensive performances on third down. What do you attribute the improvement to on your third down defense?
Yeah, tighter coverage. I think that starts affecting the quarterback is a huge part of that. Getting, even if it's not sacks, it's hits. It's moving them off the spot. It's them feeling the rush kind of in his face. But really a combination of those. And really, when we've struggled on third down, Todd, it's been really a lot of third and longs. Like we've struggled on third and long, which is really you're trying to get people into third and long. And so I think that it's been more of the first 2 things that we've made them have to make tighter, more contested throws, one. And then, of course, the quarterbacks have been, feeling the pressure of our pass rush.
You praised Ezra here for the last month or so. Was there any kind of aha moment for you with him where you saw, okay, he's kind of figured this out? Not that you ever figured it out, but he's kind of knows what the pro game's about.
I think just the consistency that he performs with every week is what jumps off the film at me. I mean, he just – he plays the run. He can affect the quarterback. He's disciplined. He's calling things out. And, I'm excited about him because I think, I also know the type of leader that he can be. And I think I shared with you guys, I talked to both him and Tyler Booker and, talked to them about, adding, their voice. And, hey, we're deep into the season and you guys have earned the right to speak up. And it's been fun for me to watch both those guys kind of come out of their shell a little bit and be comfortable speaking up in front of the guys and in meetings and things like that.
John Machado with The Athletic. With Kenneth Murray and Logan Wilson, the way you've been using them, is that kind of the way you see it is going forward, or do you want one of those guys, or do you prefer one of those guys to just win the job and be the guy?
Yeah, again, I think, John, what we're trying to do is create competition every day, and I think both guys are doing good things. I think in a perfect world, someone grabs it and it's like a no-brainer, but I think the good thing for us right now is they're both doing really good things, and so therefore it's like, let's find the rotation. They're both very different players, which I kind of like because it's different for the defense, in terms of the way they function and the way, Logan's got strengths and K9's got strengths. And so I do think that that's harder on offenses, being an offensive guy. But, again, I think we're comfortable going into battle with both those guys. And until one of them clearly shows, hey, I've taken this thing over and it's my job, then we're comfortable playing them both.
And then what did you think of Nate Thomas on Thursday and just what you've seen his whole body of work?
Yeah, love his size, love his athleticism. I think he looks way more comfortable, way more confident. What I like about Nate is he's really been prepping the last couple weeks, both at right tackle, left tackle. We actually had him competing some on the right side as well. But, the thing I like about Nate's when he's gone in there and had to start, he's played well. He's played with confidence. And, I think that that's something that a young player who really is in year one, like, let's be honest, Nate is really in year one. I know it's year two, with his experience in the league, but he missed all of last year. And so we're very pleased by what we see from Nate and think he's got a very high ceiling.
Anything with George's knee, calf thing, or is he good through that?
Did you see him jump over that guy?
I did.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Top of your stuff, Cowboys.com. Dak and Jared Goff are, I think, 2 and 3 in play-action passing this year. When you're going up against a guy who uses play action and is so good at it as your quarterback is in practice, do you feel like that is beneficial for your defense in a game setting because they've seen you work so much of it in practice?
I think so. I think, we both have identity where we want to run the football. We want to obviously, use the play action passing game. I think it does. I think when you look at some of the plays that they run, I mean, it's not just the action passing, it's the motions and things like that. They probably use more of the extra linemen than we do. But I think so because a lot of times we can look at those plays, Tommy, and we translate it into our verbiage. And so it's almost like you're not even running a card, you're actually running a play that we have, and we can use our terminology on it. And I think that makes the look cleaner sometimes.
And you mentioned the run game with them, with Gibbs and Montgomery. How unique is that, and what kind of a challenge did both of those guys present?
Yeah, both terrific players. Talk about Gibbs. I mean, the speed is just incredible. You give that guy space, and he's just, I don't think I've seen him get caught yet. Loved him coming out. One of my favorite interviews that I ever did at the Combine. He was incredible, and I've competed against Montgomery a number of times, and the physicality he plays with. So I think it's a really cool balance that they have of those two guys, and not knowing them and how they function, I would imagine they're close friends and they want what's best for each other, but they're a very dynamic 1-2 punch.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Quinnen Williams has told us at least once that one guy can't do it all in the context of the difference that he's made. The evidence is pretty overwhelming of the difference that he's made. What do you see in the difference in the 3 games since he's been here?
I think it starts with just the way you have to game plan him. We've done that quite a bit, Skyler, over the last couple of years. And, I mean, you have to have a plan to neutralize him. Him one-on-one is a very, very tough assignment for really any interior offensive lineman. But I do think that he's exactly right. It's not just one guy. I mean, we have Jadeveon Clowney's affecting the quarterback as much as anybody. You know what I'm saying? The coverage, Revel is doing a great job of tying up receivers, which is, again, tighter coverage, so now the pass rush gets home. And I think what you hear Q say is real. Defense is about all 11 guys, but, again, I'd be lying if I said when you open up the personnel report and you see Quinnen Williams' name, you're like, oh, what am I going to do about this? And so I think that's real. And when you pay a lot of attention to him, it gives other guys a lot of opportunities to showcase their talent.
And his production seems to be a little better than it was with the Jets. Does that speak to what you're just saying, that the personnel that he joined, the guys you already have that could make plays, and now he's got him with him to do it?
Yeah, I think and how well he's fit in with the locker room. I mean, how quickly he's gotten adapted to our style, our culture, our connection, the way he's communicating. Certainly helped that he's had this style of defense with White Cotton, and but I think it speaks to him not just as a football player but as a man. I know everybody's talked about his speech, a couple weeks back, but like he's just been so easy to bring him into our family, and Logan as well, and really a number of the new guys. But like that's what you love about him.
Ed Werder, WFAA. When seasons start, teams generally talk about their first goal is to win the division. Since week one and that loss to Philly, it almost seemed unattainable where you guys were 2 weeks ago. But since you overcame that 21-point deficit, beat them, now you've won 3 straight. They've lost 2 straight. You're within a game and a half of them with 5 to play. How do you view the potential now, and how do you interact with the players about, achieving that goal?
Yeah, Ed, I talked to the guys today about, just trust the process. You got to stay in the moment. Like we're taking today. What is today? Seriously, today is Sunday, right? But it's Wednesday for us. Like, I'm not thinking about winning the division. I'm thinking about throwing a great practice today and then having great meetings this afternoon and cleaning up the things that we got to do and then putting together a great third down plan. Like, from day one, I've told you guys, and it's what I believe, and there's different styles. When you start looking too far ahead, whether it's game one, preseason, end of season, you take your eye off what really matters. And I think that's when you don't perform to your maximum capabilities because you're distracted. I told the guys a little bit today, just because we've won 3 games, that doesn't change anything. We're going to go out there today and we're going to be very intentional about throwing a great practice. We're going to go out there, run around in shells. We got to really focus on the fundamentals. I think focusing on the skills that help you play at an elite level is what's going to help us continue to sustain success and win games moving down into the latter part of the season and put ourselves in position to make the playoffs, whatever that looks like.
In your first season as a head coach, you had 2 jobs here when the season began that you've never done before here. Head coach ever, play caller on offense. In addition to that, you had the defensive crisis you had to get involved in, and the death of a player that you had to help the players through. How do you look at how you handled and managed all of those challenges?
I'll probably do that after the season, to be honest with you. I'll look back, and I'm always going to be hard on myself. I'm always going to look at the things I didn't do well, but I'll also find the things I've done well. I think, what I would say to you, Ed, to that is I'm always going to be real. I'm always going to be me. And I think that, that allows me to sleep well at night after a win, after a loss, after a good day, after a tragic moment, because I think that's what allows you to impact people, is when you're authentic, you're real, you care about people, and that's the way I was raised.
Christy
Scales, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. Their Lions defense and their new coordinator, Shepard, he had been with Glenn for a few years and knows the players and personnel and system, but how different is it, and if at all? And every coordinator, I'm sure, tries to put their own stamp on things, so what is his?
I think he's doing a great job. I really do. I think, you look at, how physical they play. I give Dan a lot of the credit, but, with AG moving on to go to New York and Kelvin coming in, I think you see his personality fits in there as well. The thing that makes them a little bit unique is they're very comfortable playing base defense. They play base defense to basically everything. But this is a physical group, and they're aggressive, and they're going to get up in your face and play you press man to man. And they don't shy away from, saying, hey, we're going to come up and play you press man to man, and they make you work. And the linebackers are very, very good, and you can tell that there's a lot of carryover. But I do think that you see his personality. I think you see they're doing a really good job taking the football away. You watch the intentionality of them punching balls and trying to strip balls out, which has been an area that we need to be a lot better at. That's maybe one of the things that jumps out at me is how they're attacking the football.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You've had 2 tough interior defensive lines they've faced the last 2 weeks. Tyler Booker's allowed 2 pressures. What's the biggest difference you've seen from the beginning of the season with Tyler Booker to now?
Fundamentals. I think, he's playing way more in balance. I think he's using his length. He's got incredible arm length, and he's using his length. And it's been 2 really, really good players. Talk about Jalen and Chris Jones. And, I do think that it's because of the fact that he's playing with a great base and he's using his length, and the play style jumps off the film. He's always been great at that. That's never changed. But I would say it comes down to his fundamentals, and that kind of goes back to my point I was talking about earlier, was that has to continue. You know, you can't get into late November, December, where you start pulling off of reps and you start pulling things back a little bit because of how late it is in the season. But you got to get your individual. Like, I'm not going to trim individual. We need to focus on those skills that allow us to play well. And I think that's why he's playing well, is he's learning to use his hands and stay in balance and have counter moves and things like that.
Early in the season, he had some rookie moments and then obviously had an injury, too, to deal with. Just how did you see him kind of handle that and kind of persevere through that?
He attacked it. I mean, he really did. He attacked it. You know, I remember I could see him. He'd be over there with Britt. He'd be working. We'd be watching the plays. I'd see him down there doing this. Like, what are they doing? What play? Oh, I know that play. I think, you know, he loves to play football, man. And I think you see that with the way he plays the game.
Calvin.
I've had a couple of guys that have been traded, and you've always said you're a communications guy, people person. How much do you talk to Quinnen and Logan and even Kenny Clark about making sure that not so much stuff on the field, but away from the field stuff is going good too? They had to move their families here as well.
Yeah, well, again, you know, one of the things that we do here is, you know, I'm a family first guy, and one of the things we do here on, you know, Saturdays, the day before the game of home games, is we have the families come up and they watch walkthrough, and they actually get way better access than you guys do. You know, sorry, not sorry, but you know, and then again, I walk around and I'm trying to be, you know, as intentional about it as possible. But you know, my wife is great. She tries to reach out, and some of the position coaches. But been a lot of moving parts. But I'm always going to check on those guys. And quite honestly, you know, when some of the things, you know, happen with Marshawn, I've reached out to the guys that are no longer here, and I want to check on them as well. Why? Because I love them. I care about them. Just because they're not here doesn't mean I don't love and care about them.
I don't know if you've asked, and forgive me if you have, Tyler Guyton, how's he doing, and does he have a chance to play today?
We'll see. He's moving around a little bit better, but we'll see. I don't know how much he'll do today, but I think it'll be close.
And Nate Thomas, how did he do last week?
He did good. He looked comfortable. He looked confident. You know, I see a player that's really growing and feeling like, okay, hey, I belong. And that's a big part of it, right? You got to train your mind to feel like, okay, especially playing tackle or corner, that, hey, I can do this and I'm really talented. And and then you get beat and you guys reset, refocus. And I think I saw that from him last week, which is a great step for a young player.
Brian, I'll leave the one TO as Cowboys. Just looking at the Lions, they're a very aggressive team. You know, Dan Campbell goes for a lot on fourth down, see them on trick plays, things like that. Just how do you prepare really for a team that is really built so much off being aggressive on fourth downs? Yeah,
it's a preparation thing. You know, third down is really second down. You know, and that's the way you have to look at it. You know, so when you're calling a defense and you're flus, you have to understand, you know, let's say it's 3rd and 7 or 8, whereas in the league it's probably, in most situations, I know probably for myself, it's pretty heavy pass. But with a guy like that that's willing to go for it on fourth down, you got to be ready for different things, maybe a perimeter screen, maybe a run, a trap, something like that. But I think part of it is the preparation. You normally carry a few extra calls on third down that can carry into fourth down because you know that there's going to be situations like that. And then in terms of the trick plays, I mean, trick plays are really cool when they work, but what stops trick plays is having great eyes and great communication on defense. And, you know, we're both in situations where this is an important game and we want to play well. And I think that you should expect the unexpected.
That it? Good.
Thanks, guys.